Hello. Well, this work that we did with reforestation has really led to 4 reasons that tree folks found that we were ready for a carbon partnership. Well, all of this work that tree folks has done with large-scale reforestation has really led to 4 reasons that we thought we were ready for a carbon partnership. As Anna had mentioned, we had built up a lot of capacity and a lot of experience and credibility in these large-scale tree plantings. We had a very good long-term relationship with several critical departments, namely the City of Austin Parks and Recreation Department, Watershed Protection Department, Community Tree Division, and the Office of Sustainability. While this large-scale reforestation we don't believe is necessary for other nonprofits that want to try this, it really gave tree folks a sense that it was a good time for us in this program. So I'm going to move on a little bit to talk about our city partners. City of Austin has decided that they would like to be carbon neutral by 2020. Through this, the Office of Sustainability has cut down a lot of the emissions so far with the switch to renewable resources, but the remainder, however, has proven to be very difficult to offset. Vehicle use is really emitting most of this, which would be 52,636 metric tons a year, and that's an annual target that the city is trying to offset. Most available carbon offsets come from large industrial rehabilitation projects, and these are all situated well away from city limits. They're not locally produced credits, and none of the benefit is really seen by the residents of the city. The City of Austin Office of Sustainability would like to purchase carbon offsets through local tree plantings because this generates local credits where all the energy savings, rainfall interception, air quality improvements, and co-benefits like that are part of the planting. So here is a tree cover map of Austin. Yellow here is going to be low canopy and green is high. You can see there's a division that runs through the city. This would be the Edwards Plateau in the west and the Blackland Prairie ecoregion in the east. This happens around I-35. The Blackland Prairie ecoregion has notoriously low canopy cover. And while these areas in the east are not technically part of the city, they do contain a lot of degraded creeks and watersheds that drain into the city. Austin's Watershed Protection Department would like to reforest most of these creeks so that they can reduce flooding and improve water quality in the area. Also, this Blackland Prairie area in the east made up of a historically disadvantaged and predominantly minority community, and is also slated for the largest development push for Austin in the near future. Much of this has come to what we would like to call a slow disaster in the Blackland Prairie ecoregion because improper land use and uninformed riparian stewardship has really led to increased erosion and diminished stream quality. So what's the best way to reforest Travis County streams? It seems like there has been a really high interest within the city to assist this riparian reforestation effort. Watershed Protection Department has been a huge proponent, and the Urban Forestry Program as well. Unfortunately for tree folks, the usual funding routes are not really present. Most funding for reforestation comes from disaster remediation funds, and a slow disaster like this often fails to impress severity upon the public. There's little media coverage, and it tends not to garner as much private donation. Luckily for tree folks, Emily King at the Urban Forestry Program got tree folks in touch with city forest credits as a possible solution to our problems. So through the Urban Forestry Program, we were able to create a multi-stakeholder plan. In this, the Office of Sustainability has agreed to purchase all of the credits we can generate. The Office of Sustainability coordinates green activities within the city, such as energy conservation and greenhouse gas reduction. That's a lot more. Of course, Urban Forestry Program is acting as a facilitator. They manage Austin's urban forest and have coordinated meetings between stakeholders for tree folks. Here we're including Parks and Recreation Department and the Watershed Protection Department under the Urban Forestry umbrella. Tree folks, of course, is a nonprofit partner. We are planning to generate and sell carbon credits from tree plantings that have already gone on in the city to test the city forest credits model. As Mark previously went over, there are a lot of steps to how the registry works, but it's really not that complicated. The registry issues rules and protocols, and then the project operator develops a carbon program based on these rules and protocols. They register the project and seek out carbon buyers. The registry then verifies the project and issues carbon credits. The project operator receives those credits and sells them to buyers, and then the carbon buyer pays the project operator for credits. The project operator can do what they like with the money. So since there's a lot of moving pieces here, it's nice to have clearly defined roles. So Tree Folks, of course, is the project operator. We'll be fronting all the costs of credit generation and contributing staff time to maintenance and monitoring the projects. The carbon buyer will be the City of Austin Office of Sustainability. Of course, they're interested in carbon credits so that they can meet their 2020 carbon neutrality goals. And they're interested in all the credits we can generate because they would really like to use local carbon credits to meet these goals. The City of Austin Urban Forestry Program is acting as a facilitator. Their goals include increasing Austin's canopy cover, and they've helped Tree Folks get together with many of the other stakeholders and parties involved with this project. And then Austin Independent School District, City of Austin Parks and Recreation Department, and the City of Austin Watershed Protection Department are the landowners. They own the land the trees are planted on, and they own the trees themselves. So all of these plantings get registered with City Forest Credits. City Forest Credits okays the applications and the calculations, and then the registry issues forward credits after verification and after years 3 and 5. Final credit totals are issued after year 25, and then all of the funds generated will go towards maintenance and monitoring of planting and further tree planting efforts. Well, the pilot project proceeded very well. We had 4 plantings on city lands. These were in parks and on previously mown stream sides. We had 1 planting on Austin Independent School District land. So these plantings were done as canopy-style reforestation efforts in which a high number of saplings are planted in high density, and then natural stand dynamics takes over and eventually creates a stand that looks like mature forest for the region. And then there were also single tree plantings in which larger container trees are planted in a more parkland open setting. These are generally more attractive plantings. So there are different growth curves for the trees and canopy and single tree planting styles. City Forest Credits has different tools for each of these. Open-grown trees typically grow more and sequester more carbon individually. However, canopy plantings tend to be better at capturing carbon just because of the number of trees present per unit area. Canopy plantings took place on Parks and Recreation Department and Watershed Protection Department lands, and single tree plantings took place on Parks and Recreation Department and Austin Independent School Department lands. There ended up being more planting projects than were eligible to be registered with City Forest Credits, so we'll be talking about a subset here, but I'll be showing calculations for the entire area planted. So why is Tree Folks the project operator, and what are we doing? Well, Tree Folks is assuming all of the upfront costs of credit generation, so that's about $500 per site, $2 per credit generated, and we're putting forward all the staff time for coordination and field checks. Tree Folks will be doing all the verification and documentation on these, and we've created easements for the trees so that they can be protected for 26 years. Also, Tree Folks will be tracking survival through verification and satellite imagery. Luckily, the monitoring for a program like this is minimal, unlike other carbon protocols. It's certainly not as onerous as going out in the field and taking DBH measurements of all the trees. So the process, Tree Folks creates a planting project, and then we submit the required documentation. The project gets verified, and then the registry registers the project and issues credits. So 10% is issued after planting as forward credits, 40% after year 3 as forward credits, 30% after year 5 as forward credits, and then there's 20% left over. After year 25, the registry will supply the remaining credits, unless the project didn't sequester enough CO2. In our region, luckily, CO2 sequestration can be measured as a function of canopy area. So since we expect 100% canopy regeneration in canopy planting sites, we do not expect to undershoot our CO2 goals. Over time, there is potential for a sustainable funding stream for nonprofit partners. This is a relatively long period of time, however, and staffing must be maintained to do the monitoring work for all of this. These numbers here are for all of the plantings done in the city, not just the eligible ones. So that's why it's such a large number. As you can see, single tree plantings by comparison yield a lot less funding. So you need a lot more of them to generate the credits to fund staffing necessary to do monitoring. Also, since they don't have the potential to generate funding as much as canopy, you need a lot more trees, but they do tend to be the more attractive planting. That brings me to my challenges that we've had so far. Well, it turns out buy-in has really not been a challenge for this program. Interest has remained high through the entire process. Everyone really likes to support a project like this. The main challenges so far have really been finding the right person to sign all of our documents. Since Austin is such a large bureaucracy, we needed an agreement signed by the landowners in each planting. And as we've mentioned, we had a lot of different landowners. It's very difficult to find the right person to sign each of these documents in a bureaucracy, so having a facilitator like the Urban Forestry program really helped. There's also been a persistent idea that the project operator will be raking in a lot of money and that funding is no longer necessary to fund planting projects. This just isn't the case, and credit sales really only cover a portion of planting costs at this scale, so credit generation seems more manageable at larger scales. It may not be cost effective for just a few trees. So this project has the ability to create locally sourced carbon credits. The dollars of the carbon buyer will be staying in the local economy, and favorable media coverage will be generated for everyone involved through the creation of carbon credits and all of the co-benefits associated with tree planting. Since this is in compliance with a national standard put forth by City Forest Credits and to address a global problem delivering local benefits, it really tends to look quite good. Through our adoption of this national standard, we intend to show that we can generate credits on non-city owned lands to build regional capacity and help meet Austin's carbon and urban forestry goals. We'd like to show this through expanding this pilot project out into East Austin. To do this, we would like to reforest 900 miles of degraded streams and watersheds that drain into the city. So that's much of the yellow areas on the map here. This larger project will be similarly registered with city forest credits. Much of the land here will be private land, however. Since we'll be unable to fully fund this program with credit generation, however, it will contribute to the overall sustainability of the project and future projects. This will be one of the first efforts to generate carbon credits through tree plantings on private land, which is pretty important. And we do plan to reforest a lot of contiguous public tracts in order to maximize our effects on the regional watershed quality. Hopefully, this project will give us the opportunity to reforest significant portions of Travis County. We plan to restore ecosystem function and habitat quality to extremely degraded streams and watersheds. And we expect to build regional resilience in the area through increased canopy cover and all of the associated co-benefits. Of course, this project will sequester significant amounts of carbon as a form of landscape scale climate mitigation. And we plan to improve communities through these tree plantings, increase property values, while simultaneously increasing our own sustainability as a nonprofit. And with that, I'd like to say thank you and say we're willing to answer any questions.